Sternberger, the substitute story lady for Miss Carrie today. So we're doing frogs. This is Vivian, my able-bodied assistant. Okay, we're going to talk about frogs. Our first book is called Fantastic Frogs. Leaping over streams and logs, hip-hop, plip-plop, flip-flop frogs. And a lot of these books have a lot of tongue twisters in them today. Short, squat bodies, bulging eyes, tiny frogs, or football-sized frogs. Maybe all the frogs you've seen are brown like bark or leafy green. But in the jungles far away, frogs put on a great display. We're going to see what we see here. Green on turquoise, poured on black. Have you seen that frog? I haven't. How about frogs with paintings on their back? That's sort of an orange frog. Racing stripes and bold pink bellies. Bright red frogs like berry jelly. There's a red frog. Frogs like sunshine, glowing bright, others blue and black as night. Chins blow out like round balloons, helping males sing froggy tunes. So I've been hearing a frog singing at night, so I guess it's a male frog, a boy frog. Eggs in gobs or eggs in row, inside each egg a tadpole grows. Tadpoles hatching from their eggs, they swim like fish. They have no legs. Back legs, front legs start to sprout. Soon a froglet hops about. Frogs that climb and frogs that swim, frogs that fly and frogs that grin. Bugs for lunch are very nice. Big-mouthed frogs might dine on mice, bathing in the sun for hours, peering out like of little flowers. Eyes with hoods and droopy folds, eyes like fire, eyes like gold. Silly frogs and silly poses, lumpy frogs with big, long noses. We probably have seen this one in Marshalltown. Nice, bright green tree frog. Leaping over streams and logs, hip-hop, plip-plop, flip-flop frogs. So we learned frogs don't start out as frogs. Frogs start out in what form? Their mother lays eggs. And then when the eggs start to hatch, do they just hatch like a frog? No. Tadpoles. And then do tadpoles have 4 feet?
Nope. They have no feet.
No feet. And gradually they get some back feet and then some front feet. And then pretty soon they're actual frogs.
Yeah.
All right. What do we notice about this funny frog? He has big, goofy eyes. We'll read this little fun book. Frog in the kitchen sink. Would you like to find a frog in your kitchen sink? Never put a frog in the kitchen sink. The kitchen sink. Here, Vivi, get out of the way, okay? You want to sit down on the floor until I need you? The kitchen sink. Never put a frog in the kitchen sink or your mama's gonna yell. Who put that frog in my kitchen sink? The kitchen sink, the kitchen sink. Who put that frog in the kitchen sink? Your mama's gonna yell. Here's Daddy. Never put a frog in your daddy's shoe, your daddy's shoe, your daddy's shoe. Never put a frog in your daddy's shoe or your daddy's gonna yell. Who put a slimy frog in my shoe? In my shoe. Come on in my shoe. Who put a slimy frog in my shoe? Your daddy's gonna yell. Come on in, guys, and have a seat. Never put a frog in your sister's bed. None of you would do that, would you? No, I didn't think so. Never put a frog in your sister's bed, your sister's bed, your sister's bed. Never put a frog in your sister's bed, or your sister's gonna yell. Who put a warty frog in my bed? In my bed, in my bed. Who put a warty frog in my bed? Your sister's gonna yell. Uh-oh. Never put a frog in your brother's shorts. Your brother's shorts, your brother's shorts. Never put a frog in your brother's shorts or your brother's gonna yell. Who put a jumpy frog in my shorts? In my shorts, in my short. Who put a jumpy frog in my shorts? Your brother's gonna yell. Hi, guys. Uh-oh. I don't even want to think about this. Where's the frog? What's he in? Can you tell?
The cereal.
The cereal. Never put a frog in your sugar pops, your sugar pops, your sugar pops. Never put a frog in your sugar pops or the froggy's gonna yell. Who put me in the sugar pops, the sugar pops, the sugar pops? Who put me in the sugar pops? The froggy's gonna yell. And I'm just gonna assume that nobody here had sugar pops this morning. Do they still make them? Uh-oh, this poor kid. Never put a frog in the baby's bottle, the baby's bottle, the baby's bottle. Never put a frog in the baby's bottle or the baby's gonna yell. Who put the froggy in my bottle, in my bottle, in my bottle? Who put the froggy in my bottle? The baby's going to yell. Oh no! Never put a frog in your teacher's desk. Your teacher's desk, your teacher's desk. Never put a frog in the teacher's desk or your teacher's gonna yell. Who put a croaky frog in my desk, in my desk, in my desk? Who put a croaky frog in my desk? Your teacher's gonna yell. Oh no. Can you see what kind of a pet they have there? What kind of a pet is that? A frog, but what's this pet? Can you tell? It looks like a mouse. They're calling it a hamster. Never put a frog in the hamster's cage, the hamster's cage, the hamster's cage. Never put a frog in the hamster cage or the hamster's going to yell. Who put a crazy frog in my cage, in my cage, in my cage? Who put a crazy frog in my cage? The hamster's going to yell. Oh no. Do you see what he's coming out of? What did they put him in? A sandwich. Never put a frog in your best friend's lunch. Your best friend's lunch. Your best friend's lunch. Never put a frog in your best friend's lunch. Honey, sit down. Or your best friend's going to yell, who put a juicy frog in my lunch? In my lunch. In my lunch. Who put a juicy frog in my lunch? Your best friend's going to yell. That would be like a peanut butter, jelly, and frog sandwich. No, thank you. Oh, no. Never put a frog in the doggy's water bowl. The doggy's water bowl, the doggy's water bowl. Never put a frog in the doggy's water bowl, or your doggy's going to yell, who put a froggy bone in my bowl, in my bowl, in my bowl? Who put a froggy bone in my bowl? Your doggy's going to yell. Now, this is the most important one. Never put a frog in your granny's purse. Your granny's purse, your granny's purse. You wouldn't do that, Vivian, would you? Never put a frog in your granny's purse or your granny's gonna yell, who put a stinky frog in my purse, in my purse, in my purse? Who put a stinky frog in my purse? Your granny's gonna yell, huh? Okay. Never kiss a frog on the lips, his sticky lips, his sticky lips. Never kiss a frog on his sticky lips, or you may become a frog. And you'll sing, ribbit, 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 ribbit. Okay, I have a book about singing frogs. I think it's over here. Let's see. The library has all of these books together by units. So you just tell the library what kind of an animal you want to do, and they get it all ready for us. And teachers and preschool teachers and story ladies can check them out. Have a seat, okay, because this one takes a long time, so have a seat. Frogs sing when they get together. Just the males sing. Remember, the males have those big things under their chins. and they want to be heard by the females. They fill their big bulgy throat pouches with air and sing out. Some males are high and squeaky, some are deep and rumbly, others are very loud, and they sing without even opening their mouths. A peeper peeps in the cold spring. Peep, 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 peep. Green frogs plunk like banjos at the edge of a pond. Plunk, 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 plunk. Some toads trill sweetly in the garden. Toads are a type of frogs. I haven't heard him. Some toads growl in the sand like an angry sheep. Rat, rat. The great big bullfrog, juggarum, juggarum, juggarum. It's a great deep voice, juggarum, juggarum. Can you do that with me in a deep voice? Juggarum, juggarum. We got it. A pickerel frog growls deeply while floating on the water. Growl, growl. 3 chorus frogs are creaking in a creek. Creak, creak, creak. A mink frog cucks in a chilly pond. Cuck, cuck, cuck. A close relative to the frogs, the salamander crawls by silently in the wet leaves. He doesn't have a throat pouch to sing with. A spadefoot toad cries from a puddle after it rains in the desert. Wah, wah, wah. Ribbit. Some tree frogs go ribbit in the morning fog. Ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. Some tree frogs meep on skinny branches. Meep, meep, meep. Gather all the frogs together and hear them sing. That's a lot of frog noises. Rah, cuck, cuck, juggarum, juggarum, wah, wah, peep, peep, ribbit. Okay, lots of frogs, lots of noises. Now, next time you're down by a pond, you listen, you might hear them. Vivi, shall we tell a story? Which one shall we do first? Let's do they all have logs in them. Let's do the first one. Which one was the first one? Here, this one. Okay. You remember what to do with the net? Able-bodied assistant? Okay. Okay, Vivi's going to help me. Okay, there's a log. Okay, just do your log. Once upon a time, there was a little frog sitting quietly on a big old log. It was time for lunch, and the frog was really, oops, can you get it? The frog was really hungry. He noticed a small lizard. You have your lizard? Put your lizard. Oh no. Where's our frog lizard? Well, I guess we'll have to borrow this lizard. Maybe he's that right lizard, okay? At the end, he noticed a lizard at the end of the frog, and he said, "I'm a hungry little frog, and you're bothering my log. I don't want to fight, but if you don't watch out, I'll take a bite." The hungry frog flicked out his quick tongue and gobbled up the little lizard. But the frog was still hungry. He looked around and saw a fuzzy caterpillar. Your caterpillar? Where's your caterpillar? I'm sorry, we're having technical difficulties here. We practiced this, we had them all, didn't we? What are we looking for? Huh? Caterpillar. We'll use that one. We must have them all together. Okay. back to the caterpillar. But the frog was still hungry. He already ate a lizard. He looked around and he saw a fuzzy caterpillar crawling up the side of the log. He hopped over to the caterpillar and said, "I'm a hungry little frog, and you're bothering my log. I don't want to fight, but if you don't watch out, I'll just take a bite." With a quick flick of his tongue, the hungry frog gobbled up the fuzzy caterpillar. But the frog was still hungry. He spotted a dragonfly resting on the end of the log. He hopped over to the dragonfly and said, "You know what? I'm reading the wrong story. Get your..." Okay. And said, "I'm a hungry little frog, and you're bothering my log. I don't want to fight, but if you don't watch out, I'll just take a bite." The frog's tongue was quicker than the wings of the dragonfly, and the frog gobbled up the dragonfly. There. Next, he was still hungry, and he heard a swarm of mosquitoes. What would you do if you heard a swarm of mosquitoes? He heard a swarm of mosquitoes on the log, and he, with one quick flick of his tongue, he ate every mosquito. But he was still hungry. And then a small fish. Where's the small fish? A small fish swam up close to the log. The little frog hopped up to the fish and said, "I'm a hungry little frog, and you're bothering my log. I don't want to fight, but if you don't watch out, I'll take a bite." And then the little fish laughed and dared the frog to take a bite. The log leaped toward the little fish, but the fish swam away. Yep, he swam away, and the frog could not find him. As the frog searched for the little fish, along came a big fish. Now what do you think is going to happen? The big fish looked at the little frog and said, "I'm a big old fish with a hungry wish. I don't want to fight, but if you don't watch out, I'll just take a bite." The frightened little frog swam to the top of the water and leaped up on his frog, and he was grateful to be a quiet little frog just sitting on his log, and the fish didn't get him. Ooh, that would be scary. Okay, Viv, good job, able-bodied assistant. Now, let's do, can you sit on the floors, please? Then you'll do another story later. I don't want to be a frog. I don't want to be a frog. There's all kinds of other animals, but he doesn't want to be a frog. I don't want to be a frog. I want to be a cat. You can't be a cat. I think this frog is probably the daddy frog. Why not? Daddy says, "Because you're a frog." I don't like being a frog. It's too wet. Well, you can't be a cat. I want to be a rabbit. You can't be a rabbit. Why not? Look, I can hop. Sure, but where are your long ears? Besides, what's wrong with being a frog? I don't like being a frog. It's too slimy. That may be, but you can't be a rabbit. What does he want to be?
A pig.
I want to be a pig. You can't be a pig. Why not? Most of all, because you're a frog, but also because you don't have a curly tail and you do not eat garbage. I can eat garbage. Everyone says that until they eat garbage. Sorry, you can't be a pig. I want to be an owl. I want to be an owl. Of course you want to be an owl. Being an owl is the greatest thing ever. Boy, would you love being an owl. So can I be an owl then? No, of course not. Why not? You don't have wings. You don't look wise. You can't turn your head all the way around. And you are a frog. What's wrong with being a frog anyway? Too much bug eating. I see, but still, no, being an owl is out for you. Now some kind of a big animal comes along. Why so glum? I don't want to be a frog. What do you want to be then? Not a frog. I want to be a cat or a rabbit or a pig or an owl, something cute and warm. I'm going to tell you a little secret. I love eating cats. I love eating rabbits and pigs and owls too. And I'm pretty hungry. I might just gobble up some right now. That's terrible. It's who I am. But guess the one thing I don't eat. The big scary animal doesn't eat. Badgers? No, I eat badgers, lots of badgers. Frogs? Bingo. Why don't you eat frogs? Because they are too wet and slimy and full of bugs. Oh, so it's good to be a frog. Yep. I guess you can't fight nature. We are what we are. You are a fierce hunter, and you are wet, slimy, bug-eating, very lucky frog. You should just be happy you're not a fly. So he decided if he wasn't going to be eaten by that big scary animal, being a frog is not so bad, is it? Now, you guys all want to take a hike today? Go outside and walk? Okay, we'll read a little bit more yet. Fish is fish. How many of you know this story? Do you know fish is fish? Fish is fish. This isn't a book about frogs, is it? Right now it's about fish, but we'll see. Fish is fish. At the edge of the woods there was a pool, and there was a minnow. Sit down, little girl. Okay, sit down, please. There was a minnow and a tadpole swarm among the weeds. They were inseparable friends. Remember, we talked about this. A frog doesn't start off as a frog. A frog starts off as a tadpole. So there's a fish and a tadpole, and they're both in the water, and they're friends. One morning, the tadpole discovered that during the night, he had grown 2 little legs. Vivi, sit. Look, I'm a frog, he said triumphantly. Nonsense, said the minnow. How could you be a frog if only last night you were a little fish, just like me? They argued and argued until finally the tadpole said, frogs are frogs and fish is fish. And that's that. See, look at him now. He has 2 back legs. In the weeks that followed, the tadpole grew tiny front legs, and his tail got smaller and smaller. So now he's going to get front legs too. And then, one day, a real frog now, he climbed out of the water and onto the grassy land. The fish is still a fish, but the tadpole has become a frog. The minnow, too, had grown, had become a full-fledged fish. He often wondered where his 4-footed friend had gone, but days and weeks went by, and the frog did not return. Then one day, with a happy splash that shook the weeds, the frog jumped into the pond. See, they get to see each other again. Where have you been? Asked the fish excitedly. I have been about the world, hopping here and there, said the frog, and I have seen extraordinary things. Like what? Asked the fish. Birds, said the frog mysteriously. Birds, and he told the fish about the birds, had wings and 2 legs in many colors. But when the fish thinks about them, what do the birds look like to him? Fishy birds, birdie fish, something like that. As the frog talked, his friend saw the birds fly through his mind like large feathered fish. What else? Asked the fish impatiently. Cows, said the frog, cows. They have 4 legs, horns, eat grass, and carry pink bags of milk. And in the fish's mind, the cows look like fish. And people, said the frog, men, women, children. And he talked and talked until it was dark in the pond. But the picture in the fish's mind was full of lights and colors and marvelous things, and he couldn't sleep. Ah, if only he could jump about like his friend and see the wonderful world. And look at the people. What do the people look like? Walking fish. So here he's envisioning everything that he heard about. Birds and cows and people all look like fish. And the days went by, the frog had gone, and the fish just lay there dreaming about birds in flight, grazing cows, and those strange animals all dressed up that his friend called people. One day, he finally decided that come what may, he too must see them. And so, with a weighty whack of his tail, he jumped clear out of the water and onto the bank. Is that a good thing for the fish to get out of water? No. He landed in the dry, warm grass, and there he lay, gasping for air, unable to breathe or move. Help! He groaned feebly. The fish has to be in what? He has to be in water, yeah. Luckily, the frog, who had been hunting butterflies nearby, saw him, and with all of his strength, he pushed him back into the pond. Still stunned, the fish floated around for an instant. Then he breathed deeply, letting the clean, cool water run through his gills. Now he felt weightless again, and with an ever so slight motion of his tail, he could move to and fro, up and down, as before. The sun rays reached down within the weeds and gently shifted patches of luminous color. This world was surely the most beautiful thing of all worlds. He smiled at his friend the frog, who sat watching him with a lily leaf. You were right, he said. Fish is fish. Fish and frogs aren't the same animals. Now, Vivi, now shall we tell the other story that I had all goofed up? Vivian has another story to tell us. Come over here, little girl, okay? Now, you might have to help me say this. Do we need the log still? I think we still need the log. Okay. Do you have a frog? I guess we need your frog too. Okay? There we go. Put the frog. Okay. Frog on the brown log, blog, blog, blog. You can say it with me. Frog on the brown log, blog, blog, blog. Frog on the brown log, blog, blog, blog. Frog on the log, my darling. Okay. Frog on a green pad. Okay, that's a lily pad. Frog on the green pad, glad, glad, glad. Frog on the green pad, glad, glad, glad. Frog on the green pad, glad, glad, glad. Frog on the pad, my darling. Okay, now blue sky. There it is. Okay, frog on the blue sky, high, high, high. Frog on the blue sky, high, high, high. Frog on the blue sky, high, high, high. Frog on the sky, my darling. Oh, red car. Frog on the red car, far, far, far. Frog on the red car, far, far, far. Frog on the red car, far, far, far. Frog on the car, my darling. Black sack. Okay, there he is. Frog on the black sack, back, back, back. Frog on the black sack, back, back, back. Frog on the black sack, back, back, back. Frog on the sack, my darling. Okay, Viv, put the frog there. Uh-oh. Okay, there it goes. It says, frog in the yellow net. Oh, no! And that's the end of the story because the yellow net caught him, yes. If they had a net like that, they'd put it right over the frog and he would not get out. So, and caught. Thanks, Vivi, that's a good job. Now, how are we doing on hiking time here? Okay, maybe we should just do my one. Well, I have so many. This is one that I read at Sunshine Free School. Do you remember this one, Weston? Yeah. Do any of you know this story? Can you sit down again, Viv? Good job, Vivi. Thank you. Okay. This will be our last one, and then we'll take our hike, okay? This is the fly that climbed out of the water? This is the frog that was under the fly that climbed out of the water. How did the frog catch the fly? Vivi, you know this part. Jump, frog, jump. We might get to say that again. This is the fish that swam after the frog. There's a lot of fish and logs in our stories today, aren't there? And that was under the fly that climbed out of the water. How did the frog get away? Jump, frog, jump. There he is, jumping away. This is the snake that dropped from the branch, that swallowed the fish, that swam after the frog, that was under the fly, that climbed out of the water. And how did the frog get away? You know the answer. Jump, frog, jump. Yeah. This is the turtle that slid into the pond, that ate the snake, that dropped from the branch, that swallowed the fish, that swam after the frog, that was under the fly, that climbed out of the water. And how did the frog get away? Jump, frog, jump. This is the net that wrapped around the turtle, that slid into the pond, that ate the snake, that dropped from the branch, and swallowed the fish, and swam after the frog, that was under the fly, that climbed out of the water. And how did the frog get away? Jump, frog, jump. These are the kids. What do the kids have in their hands? Net. These are the kids who picked up the net that wrapped around the turtle, that slid into the pond and ate the snake, that dropped from the branch, that swallowed the fish, that swam after the frog, that was under the fly, that came out of the water. And how did the frog get away? Jump, frog, jump. This is the basket. The kids have a basket that they put over the frog by the kids who picked up the net that wrapped around the turtle, that slid into the pond and ate the snake, that dropped from the branch and swallowed the fish, that swam after the frog, that was under the fly, that climbed out of the water. How did the frog get away? Jump, frog, jump. He wants to give him a chance to get away from all the other animals. Okay, if we're going to take our nature walk, I'd say I've read more than I was supposed to, but we have so many good frog stories. Oh, could somebody count how many kids and grown-ups we have here today? I think this is a pretty good turnout. Now, who is going to walk? Is everybody going to walk? Okay.